All right, recording. Okay. Hello and welcome to the Sunday League Pundit Show. We are on episode 6 now, and you will notice that the background is slightly different to usual because we're actually in a hotel room because we've had a Christmas do with the guys that we play football with on a Friday. So we're actually in a hotel in Macclesfield. We just had a game today against each other at Macclesfield's ground, which was a lot of fun. There's going to be a video of that on YouTube. And we've got golf in the morning, so we're staying over.
Maybe golf in the morning.
Maybe golf in the morning. Because it has snowed quite heavily, actually, while we've been
Possibly A&E.
Yeah, very likely to be A&E for Tin Ribs, to be honest, because he did suffer quite a bad injury.
Caused by?
Tin Ribs.
Yeah.
Yeah, caused by himself.
And
Were
you not involved?
Nothing to do with me at all.
Nothing, no.
Nothing to do with me. It wasn't a stamp, that's all I'm going with. I didn't stamp on him. Maybe caught him with my studs, but anyway, it's all good fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to get into it, as usual, with the week's events, which did start midweek, actually, this week.
Yeah.
And Tin Ribs, what we've got is we've got a game for Leeds against Swansea.
Yep. So I did watch this. I shouldn't have been because I was at work, but I watched this, and it was quite funny because prior to it, me and my friend were having a chat because he was on about putting a bet on, and it turned out we were like the least likely to concede, and the odds on us not conceding and winning by multiple goals was hilarious. It was like 16. Like I can't even remember. It was like really good odds. Like you just weren't expecting us to score, concede, and we conceded within the first minute, which was quite hilarious. We scored. It was ruled out. They hit us on the counter, and it was a really good finish. Then we proceeded to equalise very quickly, then score again, and then score again. And it was quite beautiful because it was the two players who basically we signed from Swansea who got fucked around by Swansea in the transfers, and then all the Swansea fans are crying because they celebrated. Ha! Just saying, don't fuck your players around. You don't get it.
It's going to backfire. So you were quite happy, and today, because we're actually recording this on a Saturday instead of the Sunday, because we're all together in the hotel anyway, we figured we'd record it on Saturday instead. So today, Leeds have played Middlesbrough, and
same again. We conceded really early in. However, this is a time when VAR would have been absolutely scrumptious because there was a player who interfered with play, jumped directly in front of the goalkeeper Meslier. As the shot comes in, blocks line of sight, in an offside position, it stands. It's a completely illegitimate goal. Shouldn't have stood, but it stood. We scored within a minute, and then we scored again.
Genuinely don't think I've ever heard VAR and scrumptious in the same line.
Yeah.
Ever.
Well, I'm here for the firsts.
I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting scrumptious.
No, I was trying to think of a nice word, so.
Yeah. Okay, so Southampton, they were midweek against Bristol City.
Yeah, and I watched that game. All our games were on at the same time.
They were all on at the same time. So you watched the one, you watched Southampton, and I obviously watched Arsenal in the Champions League.
I enjoyed the first 10 minutes of the game because it said commentator by whoever it was, but it wasn't working, so all you could hear was crowd noise. It was like being in the stadium. It was kind of nice. And then when he came on, I was like, oh, commentary's here now. And he didn't seem very clued up about the game. And It took a while to get into it again with somebody talking about the game. It was really interesting listening because it was a good 10 minutes just having the crowd noises and crowd chants. It was quite a nice experience.
Don't know if I've heard that because even during COVID, I used to choose to have the commentator on.
Yeah, it was. It must have just been broke, and I was like, well, okay, there we go. That was just one thing that happened during our game that we were playing. Again, we played quite dominating football again. They had a couple chances. Bazunu made a fantastic save going through. I know I showed you the clips this afternoon of that. He kept us in that game. Kyle Walker-Peters, great turn in, good left foot shot, scored a goal. First clean sheet at home.
That's got to be
for
nice.
quite a while. So that was quite nice. And to win 1-0. And I like the fact that Russell Martin, who I love as a manager, he wasn't quite happy with the game. He said we could do more. We need to be more ruthless, which we do, because winning games 1-0 is great, but we
Just
need to
takes
put
that
these.
one error, doesn't it, at the back?
We need to put these games to bed because it makes the game a whole lot easier, which we got today.
So you've even got a manager that you agree with as well.
Yeah. So we played Cardiff today. We won 2-0. We got 2 early goals. And I guess it makes the game more comfortable. And you could see it in Martin. I showed Tin, the manager's reaction to it. And he had that little bit of extra oomph about him after that game, where he does his little celebration with the fans that we like. Adam Armstrong with another couple goals, which is great.
It's always nice, isn't it?
But an interesting fact that we talked about earlier is the fact that we've got a striker that scored 12 goals in the league now. But the rest of the team are scoring goals, but they've only got 1 or 3 goals. And 3 goals is the next top scorer. That's quite scary when you talk about Leeds and they're all contributing. Like you're always seeing like Pirro scoring, or it's Somerville scoring, or it's Dan James scoring.
Well, Bamford, I've heard he's really good.
Yeah. Rutter. Whoever it is, Leeds have got a lot of people scoring goals for them. And I guess that makes it a lot easier. We need to score some more goals from other areas of the pitch. But
so you're happy you just want the rest of the team to chip in a little bit?
I want us to win games like 3-0. I want us to not be like 1-0s, 2-0s.
Like today, you want
a little. I'm happy today because we went 2-0 up early on. We won 2-0. We've kept a clean sheet again, which is vital. And I think that brings Bazunu back in, where we were conceding loads of goals and he was getting a lot of sticks. Should he be dropped? Should he be dropped? He stuck with him, and now he's got a few clean sheets to his name. We're on our unbeaten run, 11 games now. It makes a difference. Unfortunately, Leeds won today. Ipswich won today. Leicester won today against West Brom. But that takes us now 5 points ahead of West Brom. So what we've done is the top 4 now have just
Well, then again,
moved
the way
up
to look at it is you haven't lost any ground on them.
No. So
okay, they all won, but you won as well.
Yeah, all we've done is we've made that gap a little bit bigger.
Yeah, there's a full-on top 4 in the Championship now, as opposed to top 6 or top 8, because there's a proper gap now, isn't there, between you and the rest.
Yeah.
But you feel a little bit more comfortable. As for Arsenal, it was 6-0 against Lens on Tuesday, and I don't know what happened in that first time.
You scored some goals.
They did not turn up at all. Like, not one of their players turned up. They were awful. From front to back, they were terrible. And Arsenal, for once, were completely ruthless. And they went for the jugular, which makes a change. But then obviously they come out in the second half and did what Arsenal did. Like, oh, well, we're winning, so we'll just sort of sit and chill out and do nothing. Which I suppose at 5-0 you can kind of understand. But it'd be nice, as a fan of a big club, supposedly, big club, to get these 8-0s and 9-0s that some teams get. And when you're 5-0 up at half time and you're against a team that basically aren't trying, you should be able to do that quite comfortably. I don't understand why we just don't go for that. Especially as like a forward-thinking player, your Martinelli, your Saka, your Jesus. Why would you not want more goals? I don't care how far away my team is from the opposition. I want more goals. all the time. I just want to score goals. And I don't understand why they're not more ruthless.
No team wants to lose 9-0 though.
But nobody's going to be disappointed with a 6-0 win. It's a great win, and it's in the Champions League, and it now means that we can play whoever we want to play. And I'd like to see in the last game of the Champions League the likes of Ethan Waneri, or what, I don't know how to pronounce his name properly. I'd like to see guys like that on the pitch, because it doesn't matter if we lose the game, really. We've secured top spots. So it'd be nice to put these youngsters on, give them a taste of the big game.
So I'll ask you a question now. Last Champions League game, nothing to matter. Who's in goal for that game? Who is Arteta in goal? I know who you want in goal, but in your head, who is Arteta going to pick for that game?
Oh, Raya. Because I don't know what Raya has caught Arteta doing, but there's something there that he's holding over his head. Because there's no way on this planet that anybody could look at Raya and say you're better than Ramsdale. I'm sorry, but he's nowhere near Ramsdale's level.
And you don't think that a game like that, where you want to get a bit of experience out there, where a game that doesn't matter, and you don't think that he'll give Ramsdale a game to get a bit more game time?
I think the only reason he played against Brentford is because Raya couldn't.
Yeah.
It's the only reason he got any game time. Arteta has no intention of playing Ramsdale, and I bet he's made it crystal clear to Aaron. They just told him, you are not going to play. You're not in my plans. You're not going to play. I
mean, I said to you earlier today, I think Ramsdale potentially played his last game for Arsenal.
Honestly, and
I know you were quite gutted.
But honestly, it's heartbreaking to hear that, because I love Aaron Ramsdale. I like his attitude. I like his personality. I like what he does on the pitch. I think he's a better goalkeeper than Raya. I don't understand what Arteta's doing. I don't understand what's going through his head. Unless he's been caught doing something he shouldn't have done.
If I'm Ramsdale and it's a European team, I want to be in England side, I'm going, as a minimum, I want to go out on loan in January. Or go somewhere for first team football.
I just want to play
now,
football.
I look at Premier League clubs. I don't know what Premier League club would take him. I think he's got to go. Yeah.
Because Onana is worse than Raya. I wasn't sure I'd say.
But there's no way Arsenal are letting Ramsdale go.
Not on that. They'd have to pay through the nose in order to get him outright in January.
So does he go abroad? Could you see him going abroad in the transfer window? Or does he stay?
If I was Ramsdale, I don't think I would want to stay.
No, I wouldn't want to stay.
Because you've just been crapped all over by a keeper that is clearly not as good as you, and you've just got to suck it up and deal with it.
Yeah.
Now, today we played Wolves. We won 2-1. I can't criticise Wolves' goal because I haven't seen it.
We saw it. Raya's not saving that. It was a good finish. It's nowhere.
No,
there was no fault.
Right, so effectively,
the highlights only show Wolves having one shot.
As far as we're aware, he's not made any mistakes today. Then
no,
we'll go with that.
Yeah,
and just assume he's not made any mistakes. But a stop clock is right twice a day, so he's going to have the odd game where he doesn't make a mistake. But for me, he's still going to make more. From now till the end of the season, Ryan's going to cost you more points and cost you more goals than Ramsdale will. But Arteta's lost his mind.
From highlights I saw, you'd be disappointed that you only won that game 2-1.
That's not bad, especially when we scored 2 in 13 minutes. You would expect more goals to come after that.
It could have been 6, 7, 8-0 at half time from the chances.
It's so frustrating when you win stuff like that because we've definitely got players that can score goals.
I mean, the first goal was luck. The first goal took a bit of luck. I mean, Saka, great finish when he got there, but it was one of them, a little bit of a pingy-pongy, and it fell right for him. Second goal, brilliant. Knocked it around nicely, great finish. Few players got involved.
That's what you want.
Good goal.
That's definitely what you want. So, basically, we all won on Tuesday, and we all won today. It's been quite a good week, really.
It was Wednesday, then.
The game we've played together as a group today, Tin was on the other team and they beat us 4-2. So we have lost a game this weekend, which was a little bit upsetting. Yeah. You can't.
We should have stopped at half time.
And we should have stopped at half time because we were winning at that point. And it was snowing quite heavily as well, which oddly added to the enjoyment, which was really strange because you think playing in the snow would be a right pain in the arse, but actually it was all right.
When you see our group picture, it epitomises happiness.
I'll probably slide that in now actually, so that people can just have a look. It just shows joy on everybody's face, and yeah, like a massive thank you to Max for that because it was very enjoyable.
And to Bish for organising it, who runs our Friday night football.
To Jake Bish, who arranges pretty much everything for us when we play football. So yeah, massive thank you for that. But yeah, that was very enjoyable. And there'll be quite a few clips of that game if you do want to see us running around looking like absolute fools on our YouTube channel. If you go to YouTube, just type in the Sunday League Pundit Show and we will come up on there. So if you want to have a laugh at us, feel free to do that.
Please tell me someone got this on video.
I don't think anyone was filming when you got your injury. He said this and he was pointing to his balloon. We've got ankles, he's got balloon. It's rather large.
So also in midweek, I watched a couple of games during midweek. I watched PSG, Newcastle.
Does your wife listen to the pod?
Yeah.
Does she actually listen to it?
Sometimes, yeah.
I was like, we've got to apologise to kids because apparently this pod is the reason that Jim Jam now has to watch football all week. Like every day he's got to watch a game of football, which we're okay with because then he comes to the podcast more knowledgeable. But
sacrifice worth making.
I can imagine Kiz is pretty annoyed.
What a game of football! I mean, it's been a long time since I've been watching Champions League football. I bet you're really talking ITV days.
Bloody hell.
But
are you that old?
Newcastle, yeah.
Newcastle
were defended superbly in that game.
PSG game.
Yeah, they gave so much fight and everything, and for the way they conceded at the end, wasn't a penalty.
We actually had, after the football that we played, we had a meal out, and we enjoyed. I'll go with enjoyed. We enjoyed a conversation that Tim was having with one of the other lads that we go with about that exact incident, about the penalty. And do you reckon you could tell us about it now without
describe
getting quite as annoyed as you were?
Yeah, so basically, as we all know, I think Mbappe is an overrated piece of shit. I genuinely think he is so overrated, it's fucking ridiculous.
I would like to interject at this point just to say that he's actually underestimating what he thinks of Mbappe at this point, because it's generally a little bit worse than that.
Yeah. So anyway, he is ridiculously overrated. He plays in a farmers league. I mean, anyone would look good in that league playing for PSG. Every time he plays a decent team, he disappears. Everyone bangs on about how he scored a hat-trick in the World Cup final. Congratulations. I even forgot he was on the pitch till he scored that screamer in the 79th minute. And then he scores 2 penalties. He didn't even fucking win. Oh, congratulations. What would he fucking do? He is overrated massively.
I love it.
And the fact of the matter is, he's overrated. And it's almost like the referee, I mean, you got to remember, the VAR guy has now been suspended. But it's almost like they've gone, we can't possibly have a Champions League without our flagship player in it. So they cocked up a bullshit penalty, which of course he took. What a surprise. Just to keep them in it. And it's absolutely ridiculous. It literally smacks of rigging.
The thing is, though, the ref was so good that game.
But he didn't have the bollocks to turn around to VAR and say, no, you're wrong.
No, and it was really disappointed. And all the commentators said they expected him to stick with his decision. They were actually shocked, saying he's got that
He didn't
wrong.
have the bollocks because they want their flagship players in clubs in the Champions League. And he is, for some fucking unknown reason, a flagship player. That everybody, Mbappe is amazing. No, he's not.
Is the referee allowed to make a decision once it goes to a monitor?
Yes.
Or is the decision, or is the decision taken away from him?
No, I've seen
He's
it done.
meant to be allowed. I've seen once where a ref's gone to the screen and gone, no, actually, I'm sticking with my decision. Once.
Yeah.
In the whole time we've had VAR, which is what now, 3 years? Once I've seen a ref go to the monitor and go, no, I was right.
Well, for the first
to be fair, he
season, they
was.
didn't go to the monitor.
Didn't do it at all, did they, in the first 12 months? They just went, oh, no, you're wrong, so it's this. And the ref's gone, well, okay, no problem. Refs, in my opinion, refs have become so lazy at decision making. Because you see them now, like, there'll be a clear penalty, but it'll go out for a corner. So the ref instantly knows, well, I've got time anyway. So they just wave the players away and go, I'm listening for VA. Make a fucking decision. Decide what you're going to do on the pitch.
Yeah.
That's what refs used to do.
Yeah.
And do you know what I mean? Like, we used to sit 10 years ago, or 20 years ago when we met, and we'd sit in a pub on a Sunday after football, and we'd bitch about all the wrong decisions. But you know what? We accepted them. We accepted them because we're like, well, that was a bullshit decision. And you moan about it, and you moan about it, and you moan about it, and then you sit there and you go, they're only human, I guess. The game's played quite quickly, and this, that, and the other. I get why they make mistakes. Now I don't get why they make mistakes.
No.
You've got it.
They can see it 20 times and get the decision
They spend
wrong.
8 minutes looking at a fucking screen. How can you get that wrong when you spend that much time deliberating over what is generally fucking obvious? It's so clear and so concise, and they take like 3 minutes to decide a fucking offside. It's a basic rule. Are you ahead of him? Yes or no?
The one that annoys me is they spend 5 minutes looking at different angles and then draw up the lines. Just draw the lines up straight away.
Just draw.
Just immediately, there's your lines, he's offside.
Yeah, let's try and keep them straight, because some of the lines I think have been a bit dodgy. Some of the offsides that get called, oh, he's definitely off. No, I'm really not sure. Zoom out a bit and you'll see the left back pushing like 10 yards in behind him.
I never understood the whole looking at it. So, if you're looking at a line, you want to direct straight across.
Yeah.
But they always look at this sort of 3D off to the angle. That doesn't give you a proper...
When Trossard's goal was ruled out, because apparently Trossard was ahead of the ball when Jesus headed it off. Like, the line is sort of probably 10 yards to the right of where the camera angle is. Well, how can you see whether that's straight? And then they draw lines on you. How do I know them lines are parallel to the actual goal line? Because we can't. The camera's on an angle anyway, so you can't see.
And I did see it. It does go through his leg as well. I saw the line.
Absolute madness. And like, I don't understand how decisions can be made when you're so far off on an angle, because that is offside is a straight line across the pitch, a direct line. So if you wouldn't accept a liner calling you offside if he's 10 yards ahead of you, and the liner called you offside, I'd argue with him black and blue, mate.
He's not in line.
Like, how the fuck are you going to know whether I'm offside or not? You're not in line with us. So how can you tell when the camera angle's so far ahead? It just doesn't make any sense to me at all.
No. And another one, we watched a clip before, I think it was Notts Forest should have had a penalty, where
he's pulling the back of his shirt.
Pulling the back of his shirt, and it makes you
Clear
think,
as day.
you know,
how is that not checked by VAR?
Is it because it was Notts Forest?
I thought
because it's Everton, and right now everyone's on a fucking pity party for him.
You've really got no sympathy for him at all, because of when Leeds got screwed over.
Mate, I'm just sick to death of every other club that's ever been deducted points. Every other club that's been fucking bankrolled to oblivion. Oh no sympathy whatsoever. Some fucking Scouse bastards who attack their own fucking players. Oh no, they're fine. Oh, we feel sorry for them. No pity whatsoever.
I'm definitely.
But if that's the other way round, in the other end of the box, are they looking at it?
Oh yeah,
because clearly Man City, Man United, they look for it.
Did they look at it? Because as far as I'm aware, if a player goes down in a box and calls for a penalty, they have to just check the scenario just in case. So, like when the guy gets his shirt pulled, obviously he's gonna sit with his arms in the air. That was a pen. So surely, I think VAR at that point are meant to check that just because somebody's calling for a pen. It could just be a 30, even a 2-second check, and look at it and goes, definitely not a penalty. That's just been penalty. But I thought when somebody claims a pen, they have to check it. Now, if you're looking at that and you see the game today from Notts Forest and Everton, it's clear he's dragging his shirt.
Yeah.
I don't see the problem in trying to swap shirts with your opponent mid-game.
Obviously, the ref thought it was, and VAR both thought it was okay.
Yeah.
Forest 100% should have had a penalty there, in my opinion. None of us are Forest fans, none of us are Everton fans. Don't really care who wins the game.
But then,
it's
not going to affect the interpretation, isn't it?
It's not fair on Forest to put that much effort in, be fouled and get nothing for it.
Yeah.
It's just out of order.
It's just annoying because another game gives that decision.
It's so obvious. Like, you can fucking clearly see he's pulling his shirt. Pulling a shirt is a foul, and if you foul somebody in the box, it's a penalty.
I hope it comes up when I watch Ref Watch. I hope they talk about
why
that incident.
Because it's great.
Because I want to hear what was said about it. Did they look at it?
Oh,
are they even going to mention it?
He's the most incompetent bell end ever.
Who's that?
Dermot.
O'Leary.
It's like he literally. I remember the one. He watches one and says, "No, it's not a penalty for me." And Stephen Warnock's sitting there going, "But it is. It's a blatant penalty." And even that, what's her name? Who sits opposite? Is it Karen something? And she was going, "It's a penalty." And
Karen Carney.
Yeah, and they're both going, "It's a blatant penalty."
Yeah, but they've played again.
No, literally, Dermot's going, "No, it's not a penalty for me." Then they show another one that's identical, and then Dermot's going, "It's a penalty." And even like Stephen Warnock and Karen are looking at him going, "But it's no different to the one you've just said isn't a penalty. So what is a penalty?"
It is. It depends on what club you play for.
That's what it is. So, but that's why I hate Ref Watch.
I'd like to say I disagree with that, but given some of the
Because
decisions
that's why I hate Ref Watch, because they've got him, and he's such a simp, it's ridiculous.
Simp, I haven't heard that word for ages. You've come out with some words.
I know,
today,
it's amazing what painkillers do for you. But no, it's true. It's like, it literally is like him simping for like the big clubs, because it's like he'll stand there and he'll see something that's so blatantly obviously, oh no, I don't think it is, and they'll try and justify it with the most bullshit thing you've ever heard.
Yeah, I haven't watched Ref Watch because I just think it would wind me up.
Jesus.
It can be interesting.
I've avoided watching it. Anyway, we are going to take a quick break now. We're going to go a little bit more into VAR on this second part, just to discuss some changes that they want to make to VAR, which we think is a little strange, to be honest. Because from what I've heard, they want to include throw-ins and corners into the VAR decision making.
I heard that they were doing. They're looking at second yellows, and what was the other one? No, corners were definitely mentioned. I didn't know about throw-ins and now, but they were on about second yellows and certain aspects of being able to like just check extra stuff.
Can you imagine how long a game of football's going to last if they're doing throw-ins and corners?
Say that, I mean, you know the term "don't run before you've learned to crawl" sort of thing.
Yeah.
This literally is the best example of it. They haven't even got what they're doing now fucking working. So, and they want to convolute it and mess it up even more. It's ridiculous.
Like
they need to get quick at it if we're going to do that.
No, we just need to.
Can you imagine every throw-in taking 3 minutes to decide which way it's going to be? Jesus Christ. Mate, honestly, a game will last. It'll be like cricket.
And you know what? Sometimes when it's a throw-in or a corner, sometimes you just don't know because it just goes, and you're like, okay,
you know what?
It's gone.
Just you can have it.
And you know what? It goes whichever way the ref decides. It's gone that way, and you just got to be like,
fine.
Okay,
whoever doesn't get it has a bit of a moan.
Yeah,
you have to. Like law,
but you can understand.
Yeah, you just accept.
So you can't make a decision.
But this is what was going back to before.
Two players slide in.
Before VAR, you accepted that. You bitch about it, and you'd be like, "That was crap," and the refs a disgrace, and this, that, and the other. Eventually, you go, mistakes happen. And
How
you
often
just
do
accept
two
it.
players slide in? The kind of
Yeah, Tim.
the ball.
Yes, Tim, I would like to ask you that question.
Yeah.
How often does a keeper run 40 yards outside his area to challenge a striker who's clearly too fat to get anywhere near the goal anyway,
Well,
and then cripple himself?
I did think I was getting there initially, but the snow held up the ball.
He was not getting there, let me tell you that. I'm not even quick, but he wasn't getting there. He was miles away. But thanks for giving me another opportunity to bring that up.
No, like I was saying, where the ball kind of gets stuck between two players' legs and they both slide, and the ball goes out of play.
You just guess. You can have it.
Yeah.
And you just accept it, don't you? Because it's one of them. Because you accept the fact that it's a very, very difficult decision to make. It's got fair.
Every decision that in them circumstances is right and wrong.
Basically, yeah. So you've just got, like I say, just got to accept it. But we did, though. That's the thing, is we did accept it.
You would normally go defender's way in them circumstances.
The reason I think people get so annoyed with VAR being wrong is because every football fan on the fucking planet can tell you which decision it's meant to be. There's a couple of penalty decisions which I'd say are 50-50. You'll get half going, definitely wasn't, and you'll get half going, definitely was. Well, in that case, it's right either way, isn't it? Because half you think it is and half you think it isn't. So either way, if they give it, they're 50% right. If they don't give it, they're 50% right.
It's a little bit like that Barnsley goal that I sent you against Wickham, where the keeper picks the ball up and then the player runs into him.
He doesn't run into him.
He doesn't really run into him.
He runs
really
into
run
He
into
barely.
Don't get me wrong. The keeper absolutely flaps it like an idiot.
He deserved what he got.
Yeah,
100%.
but the letter of the law is he's got the ball in two hands and he runs into him. It's fab.
If he falls down that easily and drops the ball, he clearly didn't have full control of the ball,
100%.
which then makes it not a foul.
Yeah, 100%. And if you run into any defender like that, there's not a ref on the planet that would give a free kick for it.
The letter of the law is he has a ball in his hands.
Keepers are overprotected.
I'll agree to that, sir.
Yeah.
To a certain degree, I will agree to that.
100%.
But what I'm saying is, at that point, the ball is in two hands and the player runs into him on purpose. But what my point is the letter of the law, it's foul. But that's where the interpretation thing comes in. Like I say, I don't dispute the fact that he fell to the floor like an idiot and dropped it, which was stupid. He was just trying to get away with it, whereas anyone else would have just stood there, looked at him. And,
I reckon on that particular occasion, 10% of people would tell you that that's a foul. And out of that 10%, I reckon 100% would be goalkeepers. They're the only people on the planet that would look at that.
Because we play more attacking roles that we're like...
No, because you have played very defensive in the past as well.
Yeah, but not in goal, because I'm a bit
but
like
I've played as a keeper.
Goal.
I've played for a couple of years as a goalkeeper. Now, I'll be honest, something similar to that has happened to me. Whereas the ball's come through, I've picked it up and then someone's run into me.
Well, I tapped you on your shoulder on Friday and you didn't fall over and I didn't understand.
I looked at him and as he turned around, I chucked the ball at the back of his head and then caught it again. I didn't throw myself to the floor going, I need a thing.
Yeah, but that's just this generation, isn't it? They've got away with this whole diving thing, which goes back to what I was saying. We should use VAR and stuff like that as a retrospective point and just start booking people for diving.
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea because some of the challenges were even professional footballers like Shearer, who played back in the 90s, and Shearer will look at it and go, definite penalty. Are you fucking insane? He's barely touched him. What is wrong with you? You were playing football when it was actual football. And football is a contact sport. You are allowed to touch your opponent.
Because he plays strikers bias and defenders play defenders bias.
Yeah,
and even the pundits do it.
Sad.
What they need to do is go a bit more like the VAR. They need to go a bit like the rugby.
Yeah, I think...
Because they've got it right, what they do. Mic up the refs, make them explain their decisions.
you'd have to be quick on that beat button, wouldn't you? If you got the refs mic'd up and you got the players hurling abuse at you. Or you'd have
it's
the ref,
dead easy.
You'd have the ref trying to explain,
Dead easy,
wouldn't
isn't it? If you swear, you get booked.
Yeah, actually, we had Dunk, was it Dunk? Got sent off.
Yeah.
First player in something like 16 years or something.
Yeah.
For dissent.
For swearing.
Sorry, he got a yellow card for dissent, and then they sent him off for foul abusive language.
Yeah. Dead simple.
I think that's the right.
Dead simple. Swear at the ref.
Yeah.
There you go. Even when we played Sunday League, some refs wouldn't take it. They'd only give you one warning.
There's a referee in Staffordshire. I'd love to give him a shout out, but I don't know his name. But there's a referee in Staffordshire, and he's missing a hand, and he's got a hook for a hand.
Oh yeah,
honestly,
great ref.
One of the best refs I've ever had. And he'll literally come up to your team before you kick off. He'll come up to your team and he waves his hook at you, and he's going, "Anybody swears at me," and you go, "So because I won't put up with it."
Mm.
And mate, honestly, from minute one, he is on you. I love him. He's great.
Yeah, he was a good ref.
Superb referee.
Yeah.
But it is funny because if he books you with the hook and not with his hand. He's very, very entertaining. But he controls the game from start to finish. Very, very good ref. There's also a young kid that refs in Staffordshire as well, and he's only got to be about 20, maybe even younger than that. Do you know what? He's brilliant.
Yeah.
He refs the adult side, but good control over the game. Definitely a couple of good referees there.
Yeah, I know that there was a young ref. And there was also one towards the end when we were playing as well. There was a female referee who was really good as well. But she didn't put up with no stuff because her dad used to come to the game as well.
I don't think I ever saw it.
Yeah, Dad used to come to a game and he wouldn't tolerate anything like abusive and stuff like that. So it stick up. But in all fairness, she held her own anyway, and you never really saw anything. But yeah,
I mean, a woman getting stuck in on
good
Sunday League football, you've got to hand it to her, haven't you? Because that can't be an easy situation.
There's some good referees out there. I mean, there were some really bad ones, like ones that don't want to leave the halfway line and make all the decisions from there. Oh my word!
He never left the centre circle, did he? No. George, you're on about old George. Never left the centre circle. And he's trying to tell you what a penalty is. Right? He's 50 yards away from the incident. You're like, mate, just give it a rest. It's over. It's over. Forget it. I did want to point out, like with the whole VAR thing, as I have pointed out on this podcast before, I'm not the biggest fan of Wolves. I find some of the fans and some of the stuff they say quite irritating. But I think VAR has probably cost them anywhere between 10 and 15 points this season.
I can fully understand why the fans are absolutely fuming.
Oh, 100%. I mean, from day one, when Onana come out and WWE their strike, I can't remember who it was that he ran into, but holy crap. That's kind of the point I was going to earlier. How can you look at that situation when you fly full-bodied into somebody, flatten them? How can anyone look at that, guys?
And get absolutely nowhere near the ball.
I did watch a ref watch on that, and I remember it was all to do with how he was going into the player, like the interpretation. If he was going for the ball, it's okay because he's a goalkeeper kind of thing, but they don't agree that he was. And it was all down to the interpretation of the situation. It's like, if you're doing it one way, it's not a foul. It's like the whole
I'm going to say
red
like
cards.
this, so it's not, in my opinion, and I'm pretty much sure the rulings are that if you're going for the ball, you have to get there. If you don't get there, it's a foul.
Same as a tackle.
Yeah, absolutely. It's exactly the same as a tackle.
Surely.
At the end of the day, if you're coming for a cross, if you don't get that cross and flatten someone...
I mean, don't get me wrong, like, I've had occasions as a striker where I've gone forward, the ball's come across, the keeper's got the ball and then flattened me.
Yeah.
And I've just got up and carried on because why he's got the ball, there's not a lot to do about it. I've run into him, effectively.
Yeah.
Because I'm the one running towards him. He's just coming out and catching the ball. So you do accept it. But if he missed the ball and flat, are you fucking right? I'd be going, that's a pen.
Yeah.
He's got nowhere near the ball and he's taking me out. Same situation, but because the keeper's claimed the ball, I fully accept the fact that I've then run into him and I don't want the penalty for it because he's got the ball.
Yeah.
But if then he misses the ball and I've got a chance to get it and then he flattens me, well, I'm going to be dead pissed off about it.
Well, it's like when if a striker's running inside the box and his back foot trails a little bit and the defender kind of catches him just, even though he's making a natural decision, he gets sent off because he didn't make a play for the ball. Whereas if the defender swings at him, blatantly kicks him in the back of the legs, cause him to go down, he'll only get a booking.
Yeah. That's one
because
thing.
he made intent to play the ball.
Yeah.
Whereas the guy that accidentally is literally just running and the attacker's leg accidentally catches his, he gets sent off for it. And it's like, how wrong are the rules?
The one that annoys me is when people leave a leg to get caught, or they move their leg to get caught.
Harry Kane got booked for that in the England international.
One of your lads got booked against us for doing it as he ran into the area last season in the Premier League. As he ran into the area, he just moved his leg across to get the penalty, and he actually got booked for it, which was like quite nice.
But they should though, because it's
absolutely
one of them things that's easy to spot.
They do it all the time, and a lot of the time. And like I said about Andre today, I saw his little seal dive because he does it week in, week out. He's the only person to ever get fouled on a Friday night. Think about it. And all he does is he leaves his feet there so that when someone touches him and he goes down like a seal, every time.
A seal dive.
He does. He leaves his feet there, his arms come out, and he does a little, looks like a fucking seal.
Especially when you're looking at that on VAR though. It's easy to spot when someone's running through it and they move their foot into the defender.
Yeah, and
then go over.
Yeah, most of the time they still get it.
Yeah, but even the ex-pros, I look at it and go, but there was contact.
Oh, that's the worst one. There's contact.
Off. It's a contact sport.
Yeah.
I can't kick you. I mean, apart from the fact that I got the free kick when I kicked you tonight, but I can't kick you and expect a free kick. I got it tonight, but I wasn't expecting it. I genuinely, when he said foul, I thought he was going to.
I thought he'd give it my way initially.
But thinking about it, you did come flying out your.
Oh no, he was right. The decision was to give you a free kick.
But because I caught you, I just automatically assumed that's your free kick because I've hurt you. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So, but if I'd have watched a replay of that, I'd have gone, actually, when you see him flying across the turf. Yeah, that looked more dangerous than what I did, for sure, because I just lifted my foot to try and get out of the way of you. You just flew that quickly at me. I couldn't get my foot out of the way quick enough and caught you as you come through. But these things are obvious. So obvious when you're looking at a VAR. Mm-hmm. If someone's running and then their leg all of a sudden just comes out for no reason to the right, you don't run like a crab. If your leg's moving in that direction, it's not a foul, and you should get booked for simulation.
Yeah.
Whether you've been hit or not, you should be done for it. Obviously, we've covered again in one of the other ones the Liverpool goal that got disallowed. Mm-hmm. It's pretty clear from anyone that has listened to the podcast from the start that we, let's put it delicately, fucking hate Liverpool. But that should have been a goal.
It should have.
There's no two ways about it. No matter what you think of Liverpool, it was a fucking goal. And even after they played 3 minutes and then the VAR have gone, we've got this fucking wrong, should have pulled it back.
Yeah. I don't see why.
Because it's such an important decision.
Because they can't.
They can.
No, they can't. They can't.
They can.
Because the play's restarted. You can't. It does, because that's in the rules. That's what his mate Dermot says.
It's also in the rules that if you pull somebody's shirt, it's a penalty, and they don't listen to that. So why do they have to listen to the other one? If you make that big of a howler, pull the game back.
Because sometimes following the rules matters, sometimes it doesn't.
It's like playing the advantage, isn't it? It's okay to play an advantage until there's no advantage, and then you can play it back. Ooh.
Yeah, some refs leave that pretty long as well, don't they? and then still bring it back for the free
But my point
I
is-
mean, our second goal today, referee played a brilliant
Oh,
advantage.
that was superb advantage. It's a proper crunching tackle. Guy goes down, but the ball carries on. The rest are like, no, carry on.
Yeah.
And the best part is, they've scored. They've all gone wheeling off to the set of fans over on the far right side. Yeah, look at us. Their player who got crippled in the open, like run up to it, is still on the floor going, I'm fucking dying. No one gives a shit about him.
That's a bit odd.
Yeah.
Score a goal, just leave a guy crippled on the floor.
Yeah, it was
and go
great.
running off.
I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah, City v Liverpool, when City got the Kanji's goal disallowed again. Just a disgraceful decision. Even if it was a foul, you've got Alisson fouling, Kanji, then a Kanji foul, just let it go. And it was handbags anyway, there was nothing in it. So some of the decisions have just been absolute disgrace. The
Every
red cards that
team
have been
gets
missed.
them their way and they get it against.
They do, and I get the fact that it levels out, but I think that is a poor excuse for poor decisions.
I don't think
Because the decision should be right.
I don't think it always levels out.
How can you? Well, Wolves will certainly.
I was saying Wolves are going to start getting like penalties for like nothing.
Wolves
at
will
this rate.
definitely fucking tell you that it does not level out, because for them this season, it's nowhere near leveling out. They are days behind everybody else when it comes to getting decisions.
Have we had any decisions?
I'm
Go
not sure
your
if they've
way.
had any positive
Because I'm not
decisions
watching
yet.
their games, so I don't know if they
Mate,
have.
I don't
But I've
know
seen
if-
enough of their incidents where they've been robbed.
I think every single time Wolves play, they've got a couple of West Brom fans in the VAR room. That's how bad it is.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I genuinely couldn't give a shit whether Wolves win or not, but I do feel for them because the amount of decisions that go against them, and some of them, like the United one, are so blatant and so obvious.
And they end up losing the game as well.
And they're losing points to it. And that's why I said at the start, I think they've lost between 10 and 15 points this season just through poor decision making.
Yeah.
Not their own poor decision making. And that's got to be fucking gut wrenching to deal with. It's got. I know I'd be fucking bitching and moaning if that was Arsenal. Fucking kidding me. Do you know what I mean? It's an absolute disgrace. So yeah, I don't like VAR. I don't like what it stands for. I don't like what they do. I think it's made referees lazy, where they just don't even bother making decisions anymore. They just point to their ears, which I think is kind of weird anyway, because that is not really a way to communicate with another human being when they're trying to ask you a question and you're just going, oh, wait, point to my ear. It's not going to make them short, man. They're still going to be bitching at you. You just pointing at your lug holes is not going to make somebody stop complaining at you when you're not making an obvious call.
Yeah.
Make the fucking call. If it's wrong, then you'll get told. Refs are lazy. VAR is an absolute joke. Wolves are getting screwed over. And
I love not having VAR.
I was
in the Championship.
just about to say, I bet you two are absolutely loving the fact that there's no VAR.
He's getting fed up with decisions that aren't going his way.
Until this week.
No, he moaned about it the other week.
Yeah,
There was a handball goal.
We've had a few bad decisions this season.
We've got a couple.
We've had a few.
It'll level out towards the end of the season.
We've had some
You'll
and
get
some
some good
against us. I'll be blatantly. Some have gone our way. Some haven't gone our way. You know, against Birmingham, definitely they should have had a penalty. The first goal was offside. It's one of them.
Refreshing with it.
Yeah. Don't know which ones have gone our way. I don't remember them. It had gone against us. I kind of remember the ones where we're like, oh, that actually should have not counted. Thank God we have not got VAR.
Yeah.
I remember them ones. I don't seem to remember the ones against. Maybe not had that many.
You block them out. It's emotional pain, isn't it? So you just block it out. So, yeah. I mean, is there anything else you want to talk about?
Actually, yeah, something that I had a little think about, and I don't know why it jumped into my head the other day. Have we got any like kits that like are your favourite kits that you've owned?
I've got one. The first thing that hits me off the top of my head is Arsenal's bruised banana. Absolutely loved that kit.
See,
love that kit.
When I was really young, my first ever game was I got taken to watch Stoke City in the old Victoria ground in a box. And Paul Pesci-Salido played up front for them. I mean, this is how far we're going back.
Yeah. I remember him.
And I remember I wanted the shirt because it was just ace. It was red and white stripes, but inside the red stripes, you had Stoke badges, like inside. And it was one of my favourite shirts. And I actually had one of those, despite not being a Stoke fan. And I was just wondering, because it's like, obviously today I played in a Roma shirt. And I really like, it's a nice shirt. And it was sort of that got me on the train of thought of, have you ever had a kit that you just like, I really like that kit? Or like one that you had when you were a kid that you wish you had now?
The Arsenal Bruised Banana was my standout favourite, because I remember when it was released, I absolutely loved it. And everybody in the school that I went to fucking hated it. I couldn't get my head around why they didn't like it. And then I'd talk to Arsenal fans and they'd be like, oh, I'm not a big fan of it, I don't really like it. I don't get it, I love it. And then sort of over the years and years and years and years have passed, it's then just become this iconic shirt of the 90s everybody now wants to own. And I'm like, I was flipped on its head, because I remember getting bullied the crap out of because I like that shirt, and everyone was calling me gay because I liked it. And now it seems to be this iconic thing. Have you had any from Southampton?
Doesn't even have to be Southampton.
No, I mean, I like different kits. It's normally the away kits that intrigue me, because they can go a bit different. I mean, I know, like, when I think back, I'm like, Leeds have had some nice ones. They've been like fluorescent kits. I've always been a big fan of like fluorescent bright kits. Like, I love it when Southampton play in a yellow kit.
I bet you loved the old Dortmund ones that were literally fluorescent yellow.
Yeah.
Do you like Arsenal's away this season?
Yes, I do, actually.
The high-vis thing.
Yeah, I love that. It's my kind of vibe for an away kit.
Going on the whole like kits though, the one Southampton kit that always fucking stood out for me was the year when Pony were the manufacturer, and they had West Ham, Southampton, and I think someone else had the exact same kit. It was solid colour, but the Pony sign sort of took over the chest.
Yeah,
it was just that. Like,
it was like a V.
Yeah.
It was like a really low V.
It almost was like more one-sided, so it was like slightly more. It was like more like a tick than a V. I remember that one. And that's just one of the ones that, like, when people say Southampton, even though they predominantly wear red and white stripes, that's one that sticks in my head for some reason.
I've got to be honest. My top 3 kits, I would have to say, I don't know if you remember it. You probably will, being a goalkeeper, because it's a keeper kit. Is when Seaman wore the black Arsenal one with the star in the middle.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved that kit. That was the first time I actually went out and bought a goalkeeper kit, was when we had that one. Because I really liked that.
See, goalkeeper kits, I love the rainbow kits that they had. Lots of teams had them, where it was the little rainbows, stripes all over. I know, like, Blackburn had it. It makes me think of Tim Flowers and that.
It was broken glass panels, and the glass panels reflected prisms of light.
Yeah.
That was one of my favourite shirts.
Yeah, I love them.
Essex made it. So Leeds had it, Villa had it, Blackburn had it, Newcastle had it. Who else?
Stoke had it, I think.
Stoke definitely had it. Yeah, ironically, I think it goes along with that same shirt that I was on about.
Is it really?
Yeah, because at the same time, you sort of had that, like within and around that time period, you had the Essex one, where it was like yellow blocks and like shims through it as well. That was quite a famous one. The John Lukic period. But yeah, I know exactly which one you're on about, because I loved that goalkeeper shirt. And then one of the ones that I'm more because of, again, the person was wearing it, but one of my favourite goalkeeper shirts is one that people don't really like, and it was a Man United one, and it was like an off creamy white colour, and it had black high collared neck.
Yeah, I know which
one. And it had little Umbro shapes in it.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah. There was loads of little colours on it as well, wasn't there?
Yeah. So yellow and blue, I think the Umbros were. I loved that shirt. Don't know why. I just loved that shirt.
It stood out a lot though, didn't it? From everything else.
They did another white one later, but that was awful.
Yeah, I do remember that one. That was nice. England have had some nice goalkeeper shirts.
Yeah. The yellow one from the Euros.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
I had the red one from the Euros. I didn't have the yellow one.
That was really nice. That kit was. But yeah, while we're on about kits, Macclesfield this season.
Oh,
I love their home
mate, I
and
was
away
devastated.
kit this season.
I was devastated.
I
The club
wanted
shop
to
was
see
closed.
We got there today, right? And we were desperate to go there and have a look. The club shop was shut, and we got there at what 10 past 4.
Yeah,
about 10 past 4 in the afternoon.
No, 10 past 3 because we were allowed to go in at 4. We got there at 10 past 3.
That was it, yeah.
Yeah.
10 past 3 in the afternoon, and the club shop was shut. We were most upset because we could see the shirts through the window, and the shirts are so nice.
Yeah,
they're so nice.
I
So if you haven't seen Macclesfield FC's kits for this season, do Google them because they are.
I want that white one.
Seriously nice.
Seriously want the white one.
Yeah, it is lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely.
You remember your first ever football kit?
I do.
I do as well.
I do. I had. What me? This is going to show my age now. This is back in the day when your mum had to buy your number and sew it onto the back of your shirt. If that's how long ago it was. And I had number 9 on the back of my shirt because Alan Smith at the time was my favourite forward. And it was in the 80s. And it was Arsenal's home kit from 1987 1988, and that was the first kit I actually owned, and then my mum sewed number 9 on the back of it.
Yeah. My first kit was the Italian 90 England home shirt.
That was nice.
Yeah, that was
my first kit.
That was a lovely kit.
My first kit, my first football shirt and everything was the Italian 90 England shirt.
What was yours?
It will surprise you. It was an Arsenal JVC shirt.
Home
and
shirt.
I don't know why, home shirt.
So was it long enough ago that the badge was only the cannon with the little AFC underneath the front of it? Or was it an actual badge?
I think it was the busy badge, I think.
With Victoria Concordia Crescent written on it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So it was slightly after the 90s then, because back then we just had a little cannon on it. And there was a little AFC just underneath the actual entrance to the cannon.
Yeah.
And then we went to the big busy badge. And then not too long ago we went to this very plain.
I think it was very cheap. I think it was just a cheap shirt that my parents had just bought for me.
It was a home one, was it?
A home one, I think. It was just one of them.
And then you ditched us and went to Southampton. Very upsetting.
Just watching Matt with Tiss. It was a long time till I had a Southampton shirt, really. I had a lot of Stoke City shirts living in this area. Living around Stoke, so I went to a lot of Stoke games. One of my first ever football games was a Tottenham game in Notts County.
I'm surprised you're still into football. I'll be honest with you. You're into what's there.
I want to... But I think Stoke was the first ever football game I went to. Stoke v Preston North End. That was my first ever football game I went to.
My first ever game was in the early 80s, and it was Macclesfield versus Kidderminster. And we were losing 1-0 right up until I think it was the 89th minute, and then we won 2-1. Steve Burr scored 2 goals in just seconds. It was crazy. Good game, though. I enjoyed that. One of the few games that my dad let me stay to the end. Because he used to leave like really, really early on, and it used to annoy the crap out of me.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my. What was your first game?
Bristol, Stoke versus Bristol Rovers.
Stoke Bristol, when yours was the Stoke one and all.
Yeah, Stoke v Preston.
I'm sure it was either Bristol Rovers or Bristol City. I'm pretty sure it was Bristol Rovers.
Remember the score?
3-1
to
Stoke.
Disappointing.
I think
I don't think
Stoke
anyone
won
it's not so.
4-3, I think mine was, and they were 3-0 down.
You got a decent amount of goals in yours,
Yeah.
didn't you? Jesus Christ. Yeah, so it's just, I don't know. I think I'd fallen in love with football long before I ever went to watch a game. It was just, I don't know, it was just something in me. I just loved the game. Love watching it, love playing it. Just something about it, I suppose.
Yeah.
right, we're gonna call it a day there, and we would love to hear more from the armchair pundits, you guys out there, because we do enjoy it when we get your emails, and we haven't had any this week. It's most disappointing. So yeah, if you want to get in touch, it's sundayleaguepundits@outlook.com, and we'd love to hear from you. So it's goodbye from us, and we'll catch you next week.